Welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching Kalkine TV live from Sydney. This is the Mid-Market Pulse. Let's get started with the mid-market commentary for today and see how the ASX 200 traded by lunchtime. The ASX 200 fell after setting a new 52-week high. On Friday, the benchmark index ASX 200 traded in the negative zone. ASX 200 index dropped 50.90 points by noon and traded at 7031.40, down 0.72% on Thursday's close. The majority of sectors traded in the red today, with energy being the worst performing sector. Beach Energy Limited declined the most today after it announced the FY21 production guidance downgraded from 26.5 to 27.5 mmbo to 25.2 to 25.7 mmbo. Shares plunged by 22.768%. And moving on, crude oil jumps to 6-week highs amid robust US economic recovery. Oil prices surged to 6-week highs on Thursday on robust US economic data and to better than expected recovery demand. 3 months Brent crude oil futures traded 0.13% up at 68.03 US dollars a barrel, whereas June delivery WTI crude oil futures traded at 64.79 US dollars a barrel, down 0.34% on the 30th of April. A weaker US dollar additionally supported the prices. The US dollar index had dipped to the 9-week lowest range, followed by a dovish outlook from the Fed. Meanwhile, let's glance at the ASX listed stocks in the news today. Crown Resorts Limited announced that it is expecting to start operating from the morning of the 1st of May 2021, following a statement issued by the Western Australian government for the easing of COVID-19 induced restrictions in Peel and Perth metropolitan area from Saturday the 1st of May 2021. As per the new guidelines, gaming and non-gaming operations can again start with the government's protocols in place. Gaming operations restrictions include recommended density quotient protocols, which mean each person should be at least 2 square meters from each other. Crown Resorts will implement hygiene and physical distancing protocols, including deactivating electronic table game and gaming machine every second. Crown Resorts confirmed it would work closely with the relevant authorities and respond to the measures taken by the government in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. Crown Resorts Limited shares declined by 16.5 basis points. And now moving on to the next stock, Santos Limited announced the divestment of 25% interests in Darwin LNG and Bayu-Andin SKANS, which is the alliance in Barossa. The net funds generated through the sell down totaled $186 million US dollars. Santos Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Kevin Gallagher welcomed SKANS, the Barossa joint venture partner, as a partner in Darwin LNG and Bayu-Andin. The strategic sell-down is for the disciplined growth while maintaining a robust balance sheet, which will be achieved through disciplined capital management and managing equity levels in Santos's growth projects. Santos and SKANS have also entered a memorandum of understanding to find out growth opportunities for carbon-neutral LNG from Barossa. After the completion of the sale, Santos remains in the operator in both projects. Santos Limited shares dipped by 7 basis points. And the next stock trending today is Sezzle Incorporated, which today announced its intention to go public to the US and file a registration with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the ESC, for the IPO. However, when the initial public offering is planned and the use of proceeds, the number of shares at the offer and the price is not yet finalized. The offering is subject to various conditions, including market and effectiveness of the registration. Sezzle Incorporated shares gained by 7.995%. And now moving on, AMP Limited Chair acknowledged the challenges the company faced over the past few years. The company stated that transforming its culture as one of the top priorities to reinvent the company. AMP took the board renewal and established an employee-led task force. The company put senior leaders through leadership programs with the pledge of "we can, we must, and we will." The company is reviewing actions taken in this regard on a monthly basis. AMP Limited shares dipped by 1.983%. And OceanaGold Corp Limited on Friday announced that it was on track to deliver its production guidance. The company expected to meet its production guidance despite facing challenges at its Halley and Macraes mines. The gold miner OceanaGold said that it produced 83.191 ounces of gold at a consolidated all-in sustaining cost of $1,229 an ounce on sales of 8,284 KOZ. The first quarter revenue stood at $148.9 million with an estimated EBITDA of $66.5 million and adjusted net earnings of $21.8 million for OceanaGold. The revenue decreased subsequently to $148.9 in the first quarter of 2021 on lower sale volumes, partially offset by higher realized gold price for OceanaGold. The revenue stood at $168.2 million. The EBITDA benefited from lower DDPO carrying costs. The net profit after tax was $16 million against $3.9 million in the fourth quarter. Commenting on the results, OceanaGold President and Chief Executive Michael Holmes said that the first quarter 2021 results demonstrated the company's determination to deliver on its commitments. Despite one-off mining challenges at Halley and Macraes, the ingenuity of the teams ensured that it delivered on the first quarter expectations. Holmes also said the company remained on track to achieve a full year 2021 guidance. He said, OceanaGold Corp Limited shares fell by 88.5 basis points. And the ASX 200 listed Woolworths Group Limited has unveiled third quarter sales results along with its decision not to proceed with Darwin Dan Murphy's development. Group sales went up by 0.4% to 16.57 billion Australian dollars, while group e-commerce sales increased by 64.2% to 1.34 billion Australian dollars in the third quarter. Since the update yesterday, Woolworths stock is trading in the red zone. On the 30th of April 2021, Woolworths Group Limited stock was down by 0.528% to 39,600 Australian dollars. Meanwhile, peer companies like Coles Group Limited, Metcash Limited and Grain Corp Limited are also under pressure today. Woolworths Group CEO Brad Banducci has highlighted two distinct trading periods during the quarter. The group sales were robust in the first 7 weeks. However, for the remaining part, the sales dipped due to the pandemic impact. For Australian food, total sales declined by 0.7% after an increase of 8.2% during the first 7 weeks in the third quarter. It was mostly impacted due to the lower average price and lower item growth. In New Zealand, food total sales dipped by 6.9% for Woolworths. In the first 7 weeks, sales for this segment went up by 1.4%, and Big W performed well, registering sales growth of 18.3%, with no slowdown during the final weeks. Total sales of Endeavour drinks were up by 6.3%. For the first 7 weeks, it was up by 14.4%. Hotels' sales growth was back on track towards the end of the third quarter for Woolworths. The segment registered growth of 54.4% in the final 6 weeks of the quarter, bringing total to 11.5% for the third quarter. the sales to the digital platform continued to grow. In quarter 3, e-commerce sales were up by 64.2% to 1.3 billion Australian dollars by lunchtime. Woolworths Group Limited shares dipped by 1.056%. Alright then, that's all for now. Stay tuned with Kalkine TV for more market updates. We'll be back with more news on the markets, economy and diverse themes and sectors. This is Holly Shields signing off.